Well, I had said in the beginning, like, I'm very grateful to have known this example of a human being in this time. And one of the main things that I think Joanna personified, that at least I and many others witnessed, who knew her personally, is that she was such an example of how to hold in one hand the awe of being here at all. The It's a gift to be afforded a human life on
Yeah.
planet Earth.
Yeah.
And then in the other hand, and we are desecrating life and taking that gift from others. And that there is a way to walk in the world holding both and the dance between both. And I think that part of why I respect despair so much. You hear people sometimes in movement with all good intentions saying, do not, you can't despair. I feel different because I've worked with like sometimes I joke and say, yeah, I specialize in existential despair, but it's kind
Hmm.
of true. Like for 16
I mean,
years, that's the
for
conversation I've
sure.
been having.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my courses.
Yeah, like I have such respect for despair because to me, after all these years, I've started defining despair a new way.
Hmm.
For me, despair is grief plus questioning the meaning of life. Yeah, that to me, yes, that question is a worthwhile use of our time.
Hmm.
And of course, something like this particular moment we are living through would naturally give rise to that question in someone. And that person deserves to be met there. That person deserves to be met both in their grief, their struggle with meaninglessness, because they are seeing with clear eyes the troubles of what's happening in the world and what human beings are doing. But what you are, I think, exactly right. What I think we can learn when we treat that despair not as a period at the end of the sentence, but as an arrow that shoots us into a dialogue that says, it's true. We live on the knife's edge of loss of life on earth and preserving of life on earth. And we live in a moment of so much not knowing what's going to happen. So, you know what you got to do, baby? You got to find what you want to give anyway. Not because someone guarantees you it's going to work out, not because you have some 100% certainty that the good will win, but because you want to give to that anyway, whether it's a funeral or a birth, whether it's a holding the heart through it looking bleak or holding the heart through it looking hopeful. When the reality is like this every day. But if we don't get an opportunity to process our grief that humans can do this and act like this, I think it's easy to paralyze and just kind of walk around like, I better not go there. I don't want certain things to be shown to me. But I find in the work that reconnects work that if we get a chance to look at it together in a group and we feed that place with our longings for life and what we want our humanity to be, we become the birthplace we're longing for. I want things to turn out well. And that is a understandable desire. I want us to stop killing species. I want us to stop dehumanizing each other. But if I'm waiting for that to stop in order for me to find value in being a birthplace for humanity and care, that's might be an orientation point that's more paralyzing than liberating. Versus Joanna would always say, you can't trust anyone who tells you we're going to make it out of this, and you can't trust anyone who tells you we're not. That we're alive in a moment of complexity where we live on that knife's edge of uncertainty. But the gift of that uncertainty is it liberates our truest intention independent of outcome. I don't know what's going to happen, so what do I want to do anyway? What do I want to claim has power anyway? This is where it's good that I have that fight in me. Because for me, I don't need anyone from the top to tell me what has power on earth. I get to say beauty has power, treating each other with humanity has power, falling madly in love with the genius of a caterpillar that becomes a butterfly. Are you kidding me? Falling madly in love with like what a rose bush erupts into year after year. I have found power there. Do I forget it sometimes? Of course, consciousness comes with amnesia, but I am committed to remembering. Because the more I remember, the more I can be here in a way where I can give before I go. And at the end of the day, that's my hope. I would like to be on my deathbed and to look back on my life and be like, I'm empty. I gave it all. So on my better, stronger moments, like right now, that's the clarity I have. And then I become a puddle on the couch too, and I feel lost. But in my better moments, that's what Joanna gave me, is that perspective. And not only Joanna, but that's what doing her work with thousands of people has given me, because I watch the patterns of what comes into us when we have support in this conversation. Hopelessness doesn't necessarily become a definition point for us. And in that way, I'm not afraid of it in anyone. I'm not scared of your hopelessness because I've sat with hopelessness enough to know it kind of keeps shape-shifting. And that's not to say it doesn't have weight. It does. But like Rilke says, that poet that Joanna translated, embrace everything, beauty and terror, just keep going. No feeling is final. It's kind of true.
Mm-hmm.
No feelings. It seems to be that no feeling is final.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would like that clip of what I just said for the last 6 minutes so I could listen to it in the morning and remember when I wake up, because that is my, that's where I think this moment can strengthen us